How's it going, friends? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Don't mind me. I'm just pretending to work on my summer bod. I was about to drop the weight just now and I realized I would crush my foot, so nice. That's why you gotta think things through. Today though, summer is on the docket. It's what's on my mind, and we're talking about fragrances that are amazing when it gets hot outside. Which, depending on where you live, it may be hotter or not quite as hot, but believe me, where I'm at, it's getting a little spicy. But don't worry, with the stuff that I show you today, you're gonna be set for summer. And to top it all off, most of these are fragrances that your average bro does not really know about. It's just gonna give you a leg up on the competition. All of these are linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. We're gonna kick it off with one from Atelier Cologne, Orange Sanguine. Look at that on the back of the bottle. 91% of ingredients of natural origin. That means something. They put it there like it's ultra super impressive, but it's more just like, okay, there are a lot of designer fragrances with more than that, and naturals don't even necessarily mean that it's better. But yeah, okay, I see what you're trying to do there. Good job, I think. Atelier Cologne, though, this is a brand you need to know about if we're talking about citrusy scents, fresh fragrances for summertime, because they got a bunch of them. They used to be a little bit cheaper in the US at discounters. Used to be able to find them for a little bit less, but you can still find them really easily. They're not crazy expensive. Orange Sanguine concentrates on, hear me out, orange. I know. So it's got blood orange in there along with bitter orange, and then additional notes of jasmine, geranium, tonka, sandalwood, and amber. And it has a great citrusy opening. Yeah. Fresh, juicy, bright, uplifting, has that floral kind of edge to it, like this little softness, that pillowy floral vibe that sits underneath the citrus when it first opens up. On the back it says, it was the kind of moment you would want to revisit. Everyone was here, gathered on the terrace for breakfast, and the scent of fresh oranges was diffusing in the yellow heat. A symphony of their laughter and waves hitting the cliffs played in the air. If you're a big fan of citrus and for some reason you've never checked this out, you need to. You need to go into a store where it's available, spray it on your skin, wear it about, get a sample if you have to, something, but you need to know about it. Absolutely killer during the summer, but do be aware that the performance is a little meh. It is one of those citrus fragrances that is just not super beast mode, but that's okay. Not everything has to be. Now let me show you really quickly the fragrance that most of you are probably more familiar with out of pretty much everything here today. Invictus Aqua from Paco Rabanne, now known as just Rabanne. I've spoken about this before, but Invictus Aqua, kind of a weird one in the way that it has come to be, or at least this current iteration, because the first version looked a lot like this. People loved it, at least in the fragrance community. It was discontinued. They brought it back as a new Invictus Aqua, new bottle style, new fragrance. It was different than the original. People didn't like it as much. It got discontinued. Years go by, they bring it back again, and this time, very similar presentation style and smell to the original Invictus Aqua that was discontinued and replaced by the second Invictus Aqua. But when Rabanne launched this new version, they launched it in airport duty frees, and that was it. Just because, I guess. From time to time, brands do that. They release something only in duty free because, of course, the only people who want to buy and wear fragrances are people going on international plane trips. I know, duty free is a big thing, but still, like, I hate that. Ever so slowly though, this has started to trickle out to where you can finally pick it up without as much of an issue. And just like when the original Invictus Aqua came out, it absolutely crushes during the summer and the spring. And the fall. Just, it crushes whenever you want to wear it, frankly, but it is more of a summertime scent. It's fresh and sweet, and they're balanced out well, where it's not too much one or the other. The wearability is extremely high, and it was such a nice smelling fragrance, such a successful release, at least in terms of how people perceived it that actually wore it and continued to purchase it until it was discontinued, that other fragrances came out after the fact, designers and clones, that were really inspired by this one, which you can still find today. Probably the most popular of those is Legend Spirit by Mont Blanc. As I said though, Invictus Aqua is still absolutely amazing when it's warm outside, one that you need to know about, and I know a lot of you already do. But because it's not as easy to locate compared to, 99% of other designer fragrances that are on sale nowadays, it is still a little under the radar. And I know people who are way into fragrances are gonna be like, what is it? It is. Now something a little bit different. This is gonna be for guys who are looking for something classier with a nice sophisticated edge to it that still does have enough freshness that you can pull it off when it's hot outside. It is Bentley's Wild Vetiver. Now, when we're talking Bentley, everybody knows Bentley Intense, right? Bentley Intense, leathery, niche, really cheap but smells expensive. That's how it gets talked about all the time. And Bentley Intense has been talked about and hyped for years and years and years. And I do think for the price point, quality's great. But Bentley has a lot of other fragrances that are quite good. And this one launched as a part of their new Beyond collection, or what used to be a new collection called Beyond Collection. And the price of the fragrances in the Beyond collection has waffled and changed over the years. At one point in time, you could find them for like 60-ish bucks, but it has gone up since then. And this one is, as it says on the front, a vetiver forward fragrance. A little bit similar to something like Grey Vetiver from Tom Ford. Ooh, nice. I am a fan of vetiver though, to be fair. If you're not, you may not like it so much. So in terms of notes, it does have vetiver in here, of course. There's also verbena, citrus, birch, amberwood, and a bit of pepper. And frankly, it smells like it has kind of a nutty aspect to it as well, like a bit of a vetiver nuttiness when you first spray it on. That's also fresh and a little green. Quality, really high. How many people are wearing it nowadays? Pretty much nobody. And the presentation looks great as well. This is one that does sort of walk the line a little bit between niche and designer. So it's a designer fragrance, but it does have some niche aspects to it, I guess you could say. And if you're a big fan of vetiver, you need to know about it. Let's go next with the really cheap designer fragrance, one that is not gonna bust your budget at all. Harry Ellis 360 Red. Now do be aware this is 360 Red for men. So if you just look up 360 Red, you might pull up the ladies version. You wanna make sure you're looking at the right one. That way you don't get a nasty surprise if you were to pick it up. So this presentation style used to get made fun of a lot. I don't know why. I mean, it just looks like a normal bottle. There's nothing weird about this at all. In terms of smell, it is a little bit similar to Aqua de Jo Eau de Toilette. So you got a lot of citrus in here, lime, bergamot, and a couple different types of orange. A lot of spices as well, warm spices like cinnamon off the top, along with nutmeg and clove, lavender, musk, vetiver, sandalwood as it dries down. And I know hearing that note breakdown, you might think to yourself, that doesn't sound super similar to Aqua de Jo though. Like, where are the aquatic notes? And you got all these spices in here. And yet, it does smell quite similar to Aqua de Jo, the original Eau de Toilette, once again, with more of like a warm, spicy undertone. And even though it doesn't have aquatic notes listed, it does have kind of a clean aquatic feel to it along with that citrus. It is surprisingly good in terms of quality, just as versatile as Aqua de Jo. And for a long time, before the uprising of the clones, I guess that's what we'll call it nowadays, the clone uprising, since now you've got alternatives to pretty much everything coming to you from French Avenue, Armaf, Lattafa, Al Haramain, and many more. Nowadays, you may think, oh, well, you just get a clone for this, clone for that. But when this was really popular, that didn't exist. And so the best Aqua de Jo alternative on the cheap was this one. And actually, a lot of people ended up preferring this to that. And next, a clone. And it is the only clone in this list. I only bring it up now because I just brought it up then. It's Fragrance World's Feroce, which is similar to Light Blue Forever. And I would actually have Light Blue Forever in here, except it's discontinued. Yeah. Nowadays, it commands a bit of a premium online, and for most people, it's just not gonna be worth it. But this one, you can find for a great price, and it's gonna... Don't do that. I've been doing that a little bit here lately with these videos where I'm spraying it in front of myself. That was bad though. That was a lot. My tongue's tingling. I feel like my mom just walked into the room when I was a kid and sprayed hairspray into my mouth. I don't know why that would happen, but... Anyway, it smells similar to Light Blue Forever. Gonna give you a lot of citrus in there off the top. It doesn't taste great, but it does smell really nice. And Light Blue Forever is known for that citrus. A big bunch of it. It's kind of rindy, A little sweet as well, but sour also. And for some people that doesn't work well for them. That more natural citrus where you're getting like the whole citrus, not just the nice sweet part, but the more bitter rind as well. I love that. Some people don't. This is gonna give you that. Maybe not quite as forcefully as Light Blue Forever, but in a similar style. One thing I'll say about this one, you may need to let it sit for a couple weeks. So give it a couple sprays, let it sit, go back to it. It is one of those clone fragrances that gets better as it ages. Now with pretty much everything I've shown you so far, you wanna be shopping for these at discounters instead of full retail if you wanna get the best deal possible. And there are a bunch of different fragrance discounters that have given me codes to share with you guys, as you can see over here. The newest ones are Gift Express and Maple Prime, as you can see here, and that will get you 10 or 5% off each of those different websites. They're big fragrance discounters. So whatever you're shopping for, you can check and see if they have them, and then save even more off the price that they have it listed for. Then there's a bunch of codes for JOMASHOP that change quarterly that you can use in the JOMASHOP app, and then also the Perfume Box, Fragflex, Twisted Lily, Max Aroma, and more. I can't say Lily. It's a hard word, 2 L's. So anytime you're shopping at those sites, use those codes, save yourself a little cash. The next one up is Mandarin from Precious Liquid, which is owned by Richard Erpon. He's a professional perfumer and also a friend of mine. So you could say I'm biased, but I've always really enjoyed this fragrance, and it's one of the more affordable ones that he does. So really the deal with this one is, as it says on the front, Mandarin Orange, which I absolutely adore. Super easy to wear. You don't really get that rindiness with this one. It's just extremely versatile, easy to pull off. It doesn't have that aspect that can push some people away. There is also a little bit of rhubarb in here, musk and woody notes as well. But at the end of the day, this one is just made to be a clean, classy, wearable citrus. And it's also very easy to layer this with other things. It's actually one of the better uses for this fragrance is to spray it on and then spray on something else that you would like to give a citrusy, again, rhubarb kind of boost, and spray them on in different spots and kind of let them intermingle in the air. It works really well. Let's go cheap again. Acqua di Pino cologne. So this is Pinot Silvestre, and they very clearly ripped off the Acqua di Parma bottle style with this one. It's kind of funny. It's like a clone that's maybe not a direct clone, but sort of is, but sort of isn't. And you can find this for about 15 bucks. So it's about as cheap as you're gonna get a fragrance. In terms of the note breakdown, there's actually a decent amount going on here. So you have citrus, bergamot, lemon, orange, rosemary, ginger, iris, sage, and cedar. And the fragrance itself does come across a little bit like a classic Italian cologne, which is kind of what it's supposed to be, right? Some people have found a comparison or a similarity between this and Acqua di Parma's Colonia, which kind of again brings back the whole bottling style. This one named Cologne, Colonia. It's not super close to that though. Kind of in the same ballpark, I would say. So if you like that one, you'll probably enjoy this one. It is cheap. It is classy. It will appeal a little bit more to guys middle-aged and older because there's not really a whole lot of sweetness going on here. More sharp, bright citrus and aromatics along with a bit of a musky woodiness as it dries. But for the price, if you are looking for an inexpensive scent, you could do way worse. Let's go Nishane next. And this one is Wulong Cha X. So this is one of the few different X fragrances that they popped out of their more popular releases where they did basically a twist on the original. Super fresh, clean, sweet, very easy to wear. Almost even like a light soapiness to the way that the tea comes across here. So along with that tea note, you also have some floral notes, a bunch of citrus off the top, and then musk and even a little fig as it dries down. Longevity is solid, lasts a long time, projection is okay, and it's just a really easygoing, green, sweet, like I said, clean tea fragrance with a boatload of citrus off the top. Fantastic for summer and under the radar compared to your more popular designers. Up next, Bois de Yuzu from Karl Lagerfeld. Really cheap fragrance. I hate the bottle. Not the bottle style. The bottle style is fine, it's whatever. But it's Bois de Yuzu, right? So they wanted to go yellow, but then I guess they were like, I don't want it to look like pee, so let's not make it go too yellow. And instead they settled on this like, I don't know, kind of half green, yellowish color that doesn't really look fresh or appetizing. It just looks kind of like swamp water. I'm not sure. It is tricky. It's tricky trying to get that color correct, you know? Like, I understand the thought process. I get it. It's just maybe scrap the whole thing if you can't come up with a good yellow color scheme and go like, well, let's try something different, right? I don't know. It's just me. So Boita yuzu, obviously yuzu, one of the notes, a good amount of it. Also ginger and a bunch of other supporting citrus notes as well. Grapefruit, bergamot, mandarin orange. You have nutmeg in here, mint, and oak moss as well. And it is dirt cheap. This one, depending on where you look, under 20 bucks. And a lot of times, even on the high end, it's like 24 or something like that. So it's not gonna run you very much. It is another one that is citrusy forward. It's very bright, you know, it's zingy with that ginger. Well, really the ginger and the mint together. It gives it that like pop where it kind of takes the citrus and almost jettisons it off your skin when you first spray it on. Gives it that sort of sparkle almost. Some people have found it a little bit similar to Low DC by Issey Miyake, which makes sense because of the yuzu that's in there. Not really a replacement for that one though, more so just like, do you like this? You'll probably like this. And between the two, this also has probably a little more of a modern makeup just because it is a newer fragrance compared to the Issey Miyake. Performance is all right, not the best in the universe, but for like a $20 citrusy fragrance, more than enough. Let's talk about this, Herrera Birds of Paradise. Now, this one, a limited edition. And depending on where you look, it's already been removed. Basically like it's discontinued because it was a limited edition. But as of when I'm filming this, you can still buy it. You can even still buy it directly from Carolina Herrera. Because normally if something is discontinued and you can't really find it outside of people selling secondhand bottles on eBay or something, then I won't really feature it because a lot of people don't really like that, which makes sense, you know, talk about a fragrance and then it's like, oh cool, I want to look that up. I want to see if I can go check it out in a store. Oh, it's discontinued. Well, let me see if I can pick up a bottle. Oh, they're $400. Like at that point, why even talk about it, a-hole? Which I understand, which is why I don't. But yeah, you can still find this at Carolina Herrera's website, a few other places as well, but stores, retail stores that were selling this, like Dillard's and places like that, if you find the web page for this fragrance on their website, it basically just says like it's gone, out of stock, you know, it's not coming back basically. So be aware of that. If this is one that for some reason you've been wanting to pick up or something, sooner rather than later probably would be better. I know that Carolina Herrera CH Men fragrances typically don't get like a lot of hype, a lot of people talking about them, but some of them are actually really good. And this one is solid. So it could remind you a bit of Paradise Garden by Jean-Paul Gaultier, Le Beau Paradise Garden. Interestingly enough though, the note breakdown pretty different. This one has chamomile off the top, along with violet leaves, driftwood, fir, cashmere, and tonka. So hearing that note breakdown, you might be like, well, how is that even possible then that it smells similar? But it does. It actually smells kind of like Paradise Garden mixed with CH Men, which that makes more sense because this is a CH Men limited edition flanker, but that's kind of how it comes across. And interestingly enough, even though this does have like a creamy, sweet aspect to it, it works pretty well when it's hot outside, like way better than you might expect, especially during the evening. If you wanted to wear this on like a date or a night out, really, really good for that. And as time goes on and this becomes more and more difficult to find, it will be kind of cool to have it in your collection if you were to pick it up. But to be fair, I'm also really big into discontinued stuff and collecting discontinued stuff, so that might just be a me thing. And also just a couple other ones that I want to show you very quickly here right at the end. Declaration Haute Fraîcheur by Cartier. If you love green scents, fresh green fragrances, check this one out. Quality is very, very good. It flies completely under the radar. And it's got that clean, again, almost like soapy, classy vibe to it. Really well done stuff. And Maresque Sahara Blue. Fantastic looking bottle, just as far as being attention grabbing. This one is really versatile, so not just a summertime fragrance at all. It kind of plays in that Hassavat, Creed Aventus style of fragrance. It's similar to those two. Note breakdown wise, it's got apple, pink pepper, ginger, lemon, lavender, oak moss, and even a little bit of seaweed. So super versatile, easy to pull compliments, really nice scent, and sometimes Maresque fragrances you can find at discounters for a really good price. So keep your eyes open for that. So there we go. 10 different summertime high heat fragrances that your average person probably is not gonna be wearing that can set you apart, have you smelling absolutely killer. Thank you guys for hanging with me here today. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys. you.